Miss Barbara Kolm, welcome to Texas, the greatest state in the greatest country on earth.
Well, Brenda, thank you so much for having me back in the free country. Guns up, which I love.
So we're here in Dallas, and cheers to having you back. There's no
Cheers.
shortage of pride here in Texas, as you all know.
Well, that is true, and I'm so proud that I'm allowed to be with you. I mean, Brenda started her first career as a serial entrepreneur. She opened her first office and her first firm when she was just 23 years old. And I think you sold it a couple of years later and were one of the youngest millionaires.
Well, it was a successful venture, yes.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank
Tell me,
you.
what is it? What is the life as an entrepreneur? What do you do? I mean, apart from worrying all the time, usually you think entrepreneurs are either self-centered people who, are not happy, who do not look nice like you, who are not relaxed. But you are totally relaxed. You're a super smart, very elegant lady. So what is the life of an entrepreneur like?
Well, I will say that the makeup of an entrepreneur is we're a little cuckoo in the head. I mean, I think all entrepreneurs would agree.
Tell me
with that.
more about that.
There's just something there. Maybe it's irrational. I don't know, but it's something that propels you on this wonderful journey of innovation and inspiration and wealth creation and productivity. And
wait a minute, you told me wealth creation? You only mean your own wealth, of course, or what?
Well, listen, the beauty of entrepreneurship when it works, and it works correctly, is, and the secret for people starting out, and I was in the service business, so I'm best to speak on service industries as opposed to like a manufacturing, was to find a niche in the market where the big guys weren't in, okay? And the big guys weren't interested in being in, okay? So you find a product line that nobody's doing, but that people need, and then you just have to figure out how to do it faster, better, and cheaper over time, because eventually competitors
wake up again.
Yeah, competitors will come in, or the
Okay.
big businesses will take notice and maybe try to get into that product line if you're having success. But the beauty about entrepreneurship, if it's done correctly, is it is wealth creation for employees, for everyone benefits. Your clients benefit by the service you're providing. The entrepreneur benefits, and not just financially, but in many, many ways. You get to create jobs, which is, listen, that's stressful. Creating jobs and being responsible for
making payroll just every month. I mean,
Yeah.
This is a responsibility that many people probably don't get.
Yeah, and if you can create great jobs and get to work with great people, it's a win-win proposition.
So, but you mentioned creating jobs, okay. Earning money, but being the responsible. I mean, you had a lot of skin in the game there. How come? I mean, did you have debts at the beginning, and did you have to pay them back, or how did you operate? I mean, it's a risky business to be an entrepreneur. You
Well-
were not bailed out, right, by the government
No,
if you
I've-
made anything wrong or so.
No, I've never had a bailout.
Oh, wow, that's good. But there are many others who do. So what is the difference of a true entrepreneur like you, people who have it in their hearts and souls?
I was working out of college. I was working for the largest global public accounting firm in the world. And I thought my destiny was to be the first female partner in the Dallas office. 2 years and 4 months later, I'm 23 years old and I quit to start this business. Again, I found a niche with one of our clients that was not being fulfilled, and they had no one to turn to. My firm wasn't interested in doing the kind of work that they needed. And so the client was in a bind, and their books were unable to be audited because of the condition they were in. And so how are you going to fix this? And that's when I came up with this idea. And I told my employer about it and said, I really think I can create something that's going to add value to you, because we will put their books in auditable shape, and then you can come in and do all that. They actually thought it was a great idea.
But they didn't pick it up.
Well, they don't want to do that kind of work.
Okay.
That kind of work it's not expensive enough. It's not glamorous enough. I mean, this is the biggest global firm in the world. They're not going to do certain levels of work.
Okay.
It's just not appealing to them. It's just not what they do. It's not what their labor force is skilled to do. So I got their blessing, which was very important to me. Very, very important.
And you took the opportunity and just got started.
I took it, and then the client realized we were filling a need, and then they told other clients, and we went from there. The interesting thing about doing this at the age of 23 is you're not smart enough to know better. You know what I mean? It's like it's
trial and error.
You don't plan anything. Like I
experimenting.
didn't put together bylaws and a policy manual. I just woke up one day, talked to my boss, and I have this idea, and he said, "You have my blessing." And and you just do it. The key to entrepreneurship is, and this is kind of the cuckoo part, you just do. Mm-hmm. You don't plan, you do. Okay, so you just do it. And so
it's a hands-on kind of thing.
Yeah, so I went out there and did it. And again, being 23 was a blessing, because I wasn't, again, smart enough to know better. I had student loan debt. I had no money in my bank account. I mean, I think my salary was $26,700 at this firm.
Yeah.
I had no money in the bank. So, but I thought it was a brilliant idea. And so it worked out. And I worked with my clients in such a way, cash flow is most important.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you negotiate that with the clients.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I can't take out loans. I can't float payroll. I need to get paid on my invoices every week. And you work it out. So I was fortunate. I never had to take out a loan, any kind of debt, or bring in a partner.
Well, that is good news. That's good news for you. So many other entrepreneurs don't have this blessing.
Yeah.
Or this. So what about those guys who kind of think big, have their dreams? What about risking, and what about failing? I mean, did you ever have the fear of failing and
every day? Not only every day, every minute of every day. My sister will tell you, I had this routine. I would wake up in the morning and fear sets in immediately.
Ooh, wow.
So when you're going to a client meeting to try to win a job, you're just scared to death. But every day is scary.
You seem so relaxed and so self-assured and so knowing and what you do. And I mean, when did this change, or does this never change as an entrepreneur?
No, 15 years later, when I sold the company, I had it for 15 years. 15 years later, I remember I was in my 14th year, and my father says to me, at some point, are you going to recognize that you have a bona fide company, that you do not have to live in fear every day? It's been 14 years. And I said, no, I can't do it. I just can't do it. You have to keep driving it every day. That fear is what drove me.
Okay.
Every day it was a very powerful factor in the success of the firm. And I'll tell you, we grew rapidly. We had a product that really worked. The interesting thing about entrepreneurship, though, look, the client tells you what your product is. Okay? The firm that I started 15 years before looked different than the firm I sold 15 years later, because the client told us, we want you to start doing this. We don't need this anymore. This is how it works.
Listen to the market.
And so it changed, and you have to pivot. I have no problem doing that. I mean, I can be a chameleon. Just tell me what you need, and that's what I'm going to do. And by the time I sold the firm, that last year we hired 880 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
from 0 to 880. That's kind of a big thing.
It was big, yeah. So, but that's really the key to entrepreneurship. You have to pivot. You have to be flexible. You have to watch your cash flow. And the beauty and what makes it so rewarding is you have to be successful on all fronts. Everything has to work. The client has to be the right client. Finding the right labor pool is crucial. Okay, you have to have people that trust you and you trust them. You have to manage your accounts receivable. I mean, the marketing has to work. You have to control your marketing expenses. So everything has to work, and that adds to the stress also. But that's just part of it.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. And so now you're kind of very successful, independent, and can take the luxury of also being a philanthropist.
Yes. So entrepreneurship is what allowed me to become a philanthropist. You know, it's profit before charity. And part of why I am so, I like to promote wealth creation and entrepreneurship and tell people, you know, we should be unapologetically favorable of wealth creation and job creation and productivity, because that allows you the freedom to do philanthropy. That allows you to be more charitable than
any other
you would ever be in your wildest dreams.
Yes.
You can do community service. You can do a lot of things. You can travel to emerging countries and help. But, you know, for a lot of us, it all starts with that entrepreneurship.
Well,
and that's reason enough to do it.
Well, that is wonderfully said. So profit first and then philanthropy, and then profit and then charity.
Profit before charity.
That is wonderful. And we all know that money doesn't come out of thin air, that it is not created like by many magicians, magicians, or that some people think it's just coming out of the printing machine.
Yeah.
There is responsibility, there is achievement, there is competition behind it, and those are true values. And I'm so grateful that you help us promote those ideas and also spread the word. And tell us a little bit more about charity. What do you think is most important? And I cannot stress enough that how helpful you have been with us, for us, for the Free Market Roadshow, but also for the many groups in Eastern Europe, especially on the Balkans, to help them get kick-started and do the work that they now very professionally do, but without guidance and also money, this would not be possible.
Well, when you become a philanthropist, all the 501c3s know about it. And
so how many calls do you get?
Oh, literally every week somebody's calling me.
Okay.
Somebody's always wanting to come by and see me and talk to me. And this has been going on for years. And, you know, you have to find out what works for you. Do you want to work a little bit with a lot of groups? Do you want to work a lot with a few groups? What interests you? You know, there are, golly, countless numbers of good organizations. What I have decided to narrow my focus is on the fight for free markets and the fight for liberty. That's my focus. And part of that is in my DNA because my parents are immigrants from a communist country. My grandfather was a POW for 4 years. So I've watched and lived certain experiences that continue to fuel this fire inside of me. So again, a lot of groups come see me. When I first met Barbara, I mean, you and I were fast friends.
Yeah.
We met in Vienna, I don't know how many years ago.
We don't know.
I don't. But I remember my father said, you have to meet this woman. So I met you in Vienna, and we were instant friends. And the roadshow to me is so important. First of all, it's a one-of-a-kind concept. Okay, you are doing this. This is a model that is so wonderful. How many cities are you going to in countries this year?
Well, this year just in Europe we're doing more than 30 countries, and in the US we're doing at least 10 cities.
Okay, and listen, people, I've traveled with her. Can I tell you, she is go, 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 go. I mean, they go to all these countries in a very short time frame. The other thing I appreciate is, I mean, because I'm an entrepreneur, you watch every nickel and every dime. Not every dollar, you watch every nickel, okay? And you run it on such a tight budget, and you're so economical, and you make things work. And as a donor, I really appreciate that, okay? But
thank you.
But the most important thing is, well, that's pretty important, is the way you operate it. But the most important thing is the product and the results, right? So as a business person, I always ask Barbara, and I have a few other 501cs I work with, and I always ask them the same thing. Product and results. I have to see tangible results. And we have that. I mean, we have that so much. And the influence that you're having around the globe is truly remarkable. I mean, you are a well-known global leader on the issue of free markets, full stop.
Thank you.
Okay. And people come out.
That's a compliment.
People come out from all these cities in Europe. I've been with you in Europe to many of these cities. We've done it in Americas in many places. And there's an audience and there's an appetite for this, but there's always going to be a need for funding. So what I would like to say to your audience is to really consider being a part of the roadshow, but also helping to sponsor the roadshow, because that's really the core of what we need to keep this thing going. So what is your website?
Our website is www.freemarket-rs.com.
Yeah.
This is the Roadshow website. And you can also donate there, of course. But there is other opportunities where you can donate. If you want to do it via 501c3, then you can do it in the US via Donors Trust. Or I'm sure that Brenda would be happy to help and coordinate things, because she has done that in the past, also in a very efficient way, because as you know, we turn around every single cent. We definitely look at it, and you know, some of my speakers are not very happy if they are not in top nice hotels, but you know, this is what you have to do.
Well, you've never put me in a top nice hotel. No, I pay for my hotels. Okay, I just want to clarify. Yeah. But and I still don't stay in the top nice hotels. But you know, the thing about Barbara, when I travel with her in Europe and the USA, it's kind of hilarious to me, really, because she's like this rock star, right, in this free market world. And we'll go someplace, I don't know, Las Vegas, we were there
a couple of times, yeah.
And people just bombard her, okay? I want to do a podcast. We want to have this. We want to do that. Somebody wants to videotape you. Mm-hmm. I mean, she lands and that's it. And people just start forming a line and filling up her time slots. And she goes from like 7:30 in the morning until whenever dinner
until we
is over.
Finally are allowed to have a glass of wine together.
Until finally Steve Forbes at dinner one night said, okay, it's 11 o'clock. I think everybody should go home. So when Steve Forbes says you can go home, you know, then we can go home.
Then yes.
But my point is she's very, very popular and in very high demand, and she's a great investment. The world needs to hear from Barbara. You know, the last Austrian economist in Austria. We don't want her to remain the last. We need to get through to these students. We need to get through to these politicians. It's really important.
Well, thank you, Brenda. You covered it in a perfect way, I think. And when I look back at the history of the Roadshow, when we started out 17 years ago, it was just 4 cities. And now it's just the largest libertarian event in the world, if you put it together like that. Okay,
so I have to conclude this in a special Most Texan way, okay? We're here in April. We recently celebrated last month, Remember the Alamo, okay? Texas's fight for independence. And so I would like to end today's podcast with some of my favorite quotes from General Sam Houston.
Please
Okay.
do.
Do right and risk the consequences. Texas can make it without the United States, but the United States cannot make it without Texas. Govern wisely and as little as possible. And finally, I humble myself before God, and there the list ends. Thank you, Barbara, and cheers again.
Well,
And
thank
come-
you,
and
Brenda.
come back soon,
yes,
y'all.
I will, definitely, with pleasure. Thank you very much for all you do for us.